Welcome to Versus, the channel that pits your favourite characters against one another to see who would win in a fight. For this instalment, we're having two of the most elite hunters face off to answer the question: if Predator and Geralt faced each other in a forest, who comes out alive? Predators, otherwise known as Yautja, are an extraterrestrial humanoid species that traverse space looking for worthy prey to hunt. They evolved from the Hishkaten, a more primitive race that lived on Yautja Prime several millennia ago. The Yautja are highly intelligent and possess advanced technology, far beyond that of humans. The Yautja have a strong honor code and will only pursue worthy opponents. They also often handicap themselves, not wanting to resort to using their most advanced weaponry unless absolutely necessary. They do, however, use standard weapons in all hunts. As part of these ritualistic hunts, they often mutilate their prey and claim skulls as trophies from their kills. As some of you may know, there are many different types of predator. For this video, I have chosen the blooded predator, a predator who has already proven themselves worthy by killing notable prey such as a xenomorph. Strength. Yautja's bone and muscle tissue are far superior to humans, and they have the feats to prove it. From ripping apart metal doors to smashing xenomorphs into concrete pillars, their strength is shown to be exceptional. Rarely are they outmatched in strength when hunting. The feral predator, a predator subspecies, killed and overhead pressed a 500-pound bear. We also see predators ripping out the spines of their victims on numerous occasions without any difficulty. On the odd occasion they have a strength disadvantage, it's usually to other predators. For instance, to the super predator in the third movie and the upgrade predator in the fourth. Their strength isn't restricted to their upper body though. Predators are elite jumpers, launching themselves around 30 feet into the air. This gives them the ability to jump from tree to tree when stalking or for evasion. Weapons, skills and abilities. Predators are kitted out with an array of advanced technology to facilitate their hunts, and the exact kit of each predator varies based on their preferences. That being said, most have a fairly standard kit. The biohelmet is one of the most iconic items, and it enables predators to see in various spectrums such as infrared, ultraviolet, electrical currents, and more. This makes them unrivaled at tracking down their prey. Their wrist gauntlet is just as useful, enabling them to cloak themselves, perfect for an ambush hunter. Cloaking isn't perfect though, as light bends around them and distorts. A discerning eye will notice the predator's presence. Also in the gauntlets are extendable wrist blades. These are harder than diamonds and will skewer pretty much anything. Little known fact, predators are what we call sore losers, and have a tendency to blow themselves up when bested. This is honourable in their culture and serves to prevent their tech from falling into enemy hands. The wrist gauntlets house and trigger said explosion. All blooded predators are competent in hand-to-hand combat and use their own martial arts, which is said to be superior to all conventional martial arts. They are also very proficient when it comes to their weaponry, with predators using weapons such as the combi stick, glaive, smart disc and net gun. This makes them very versatile fighters. That being said, we've seen predators blunder in the past and pay for it. A super predator was bested in a sword fight by a human. A little embarrassing for the ultimate hunter if you ask me. Durability and stamina. Predators sport armor that is superior to steel and weightless. It's composed of material that is harder and lighter than anything found on Earth. It usually consists of a biomask, a breastplate, pauldrons, gauntlets, and extremity armor. Also included is thermal netting. Given the armor's strength, it's no surprise that it deflects bullets. The same can't be said for predator flesh. Predators are susceptible to flesh wounds just like us. Bullets do serious damage, and their limbs can be severed by a simple sword. That being said, they're far more robust than humans and will walk away from injuries that would put any human down. Predators have taken grenades point blank and walked away, seemingly uninjured. They can also survive injuries such as losing limbs. Predators carry around a medicomp with them on hunts, a small but advanced first aid kit that can address most injuries. When used in conjunction with their minor healing factor, predators are rarely out of the fight. Furthermore, predators are resistant to disease, acid, and radiation. Speed and agility. Predators exhibit remarkable speeds in combat, dodging bullets and jumping from tree to tree. The big game predator was shown to be able to keep up with a sports car, although it's not clear how fast the car was travelling. Also interesting was just how fast the city hunter predator was able to flay and string up its kills before disappearing. Yet predators have their limits. The jungle hunter predator wasn't able to react in time to prevent itself from being crushed by a large log, and the scar predator failed to react fast enough to an attacking facehugger, resulting in it being impregnated. IQ. The Yautja are a very old race with access to super advanced tech, but they are not as intelligent as they seem at first glance. In the Predator Hunting Grounds game, they confirm that predators do not have engineers or scientists for their tech. If something breaks, they discard it. This tells us a few things. Firstly, they are smart enough to at least operate their tech, and secondly, they didn't produce it themselves. We know predator behaviour is based on conquest, and they travel entire galaxies to find worthy prey. It only makes sense that they will pick up advanced tech on their travels for use in future hunts. This gives credence to a long-standing belief that the predators were originally enslaved by a race known as the Amengi, a highly intelligent insectoid race that invaded Yautja Prime, their home planet. Eventually, the Amengi military grew soft, and a slave uprising saw their rule overthrown, seeing them become the slaves and the predators their captors. Curiously, the Amengi quite liked this, being driven by problem solving. Always loved that bit of lore. Therefore, predators aren't the tech geniuses they might appear to be, but they are undoubtedly intelligent. Probably at least on par with humans. They use clever strategies when hunting and have a discerning eye. The jungle hunter predator was able to see through Dutch's trap. Weaknesses. Predators have few weaknesses to speak of. While they are susceptible to heavy blunt force trauma and slashing or piercing attacks, their robust armor protects them from most threats. Although it is difficult to inflict sufficient damage to kill a predator, they do bleed rather easily. And unlike humans, their blood is fluorescent. This makes them very easy to track, which is a tad ironic. Frankly though, the greatest weakness of a predator is their code of honor and overconfidence. They don't attack unworthy prey and avoid using overpowered weaponry such as the plasma caster unless absolutely necessary, as it's considered dishonorable. This means they often fight hand to hand, exposing themselves to unnecessary risk in the pursuit of glory. Geralt of Rivia. Geralt is a witcher, a monster hunter for hire who was taken in as a child and subjected to a brutal ritual for the sole purpose of monster hunting. As part of his witcher path, he undertook the trial of the grasses. This saw him ingest a special alchemical compound known as the grasses, which altered his very physiology. The procedure is incredibly painful and hard on the body, with only 3 in 10 surviving the ordeal. Geralt exhibited extraordinary resistance to the toxic alchemical compounds, and as such, was subjected to additional mutagens. He was the only witcher to ever survive such rigorous trials. Upon completing these, Geralt was extensively trained at Kaer Morhen, becoming proficient in the sword, magic, and learning how to kill monsters. Here, he exhibited skill beyond his peers, becoming one of the greatest witches to ever live. Strength. The trial of the grasses left Geralt with extreme strength. He has stated that it is that of 10 men and that he can kill a bear with nothing but his hands. In fact, he backed this claim up in Witcher 3, besting a bear in hand-to-hand combat. As part of being a witcher, Geralt is constantly facing monsters far larger than himself, and while he often relies on his sword, he has taken on a fair few beasts hand-to-hand. Most notably, he fistfights a troll in Witcher 3. He was also able to pick up and swing a werewolf into a fire, which is no easy feat. Most of Geralt's impressive strength feats appear when he is using his sword. Time and time again, Geralt has demonstrated immense strength, being able to decapitate large prey in just a single blow, such as when he severed a fiend's head. More impressive is the time he impales a golden dragon and forces its head back, resulting in the dragon crashing. Yet the clear top feat I could find was the time he stopped the attack of a gigantic monster. The clear size difference displays how Geralt has strength well beyond his frame. He is likely holding back a 20-ton beast here. Of course, this is well beyond what he typically exhibits. Weapon skills and abilities. A witcher's strength is not the only quality amplified by the alchemical trials they undertake. Most obvious are their eyes, as their pupils become vertical slits much like a cat's. This gives them acute vision, which enables them to see clearly in the darkest night. Beyond their eyesight, all of their senses sharply increase across the board. Geralt can track by scent like animals, and he can even hear breathing. He once identified the presence of elven archers by hearing alone and could tell one was sick. Another benefit of the Witcher trials is a commandment of magic. These include Ard, Axii, Igni, Ken, Yrden, and Heliotrop. Ard produces a telekinetic wave, Axii manipulates the minds of others, Igni produces fire, Ken makes a shield, Yrden a trap, and Heliotrop forms a cushion against magical and physical attacks. Yet Witchers don't rely solely on their physical and magical abilities. A Witcher carries many things besides their steel sword for men and silver sword for monsters. Among these are potions to buff their abilities, bombs with various effects, oils to enhance the damage dealt by their blades, and a medallion that rattles when monsters are in the vicinity. Of course, even without these additional items, Witchers are highly capable just with their swordsmanship and magic. They spend their entire lives fighting monsters, many of whom are faster and stronger than themselves. Geralt in particular is one of the most skilled witches ever. Here is a guy claiming he is one of the best swordsmen in the north. He could be telling porcupines, but I trust him. Durability and stamina. Witches have very high endurance as they produce fewer fatigue toxins. The trial of the grasses also affected their bones, making them tougher to break. Some say witches don't feel pain at all, but that's just hearsay. In reality, witches do feel pain, but they are far more resistant to it, allowing them to keep fighting even after sustaining serious injuries. They can also take far more punishment than men typically can, surviving blows that would kill humans with little effect. Here, Geralt takes a hit from a fiend and goes right back to fighting. Got to complete that quest and claim that coin? I should note, fiends typically tear people in two, so it's pretty impressive. Witches also have a healing factor, but it's not especially strong like Wolverines, being around 4 times as fast as an ordinary humans. They usually enhance their healing through the use of various potions. Speed and agility. Witches are said to be able to run faster than the quickest human and move faster than human tracking permits. Geralt has no trouble blocking bolts from crossbows and can block most attacks from the monsters he faces. That being said, he does get tagged a fair bunch. One of the feats that stood out to me was his reaction to an attacking succubus while he was sleeping. His supernatural senses detected the attack even while he slept, and he awoke to catch the succubus's arm, which presumably would have killed or severely injured him. IQ. As one of the most skilled witches to ever live, Geralt is highly intelligent and resourceful. He has profound knowledge of virtually every beast in existence, and knows exactly how they behave and how to put them down. Beyond hunting, he does a great deal of investigative work too, trying to ascertain who or what is to blame for the attacks in his contracts. He's also fairly old at 61 in the third Witcher game, so he has a great deal of fighting experience. Expect Geralt to use every tool at his disposal to carve a path to victory. Weaknesses. Witches may be alchemically enhanced, but they're far from invulnerable. They bleed and fall apart just like any man. Granted, it takes more punishment to achieve. Their main weakness is potion toxicity. While witches can resist such toxins, overt abuse plays havoc on their abilities, so they can't consume too many in a short period. Witches are also vulnerable to Dimeritium shackles. These hamper their magical abilities. Head to head. First up, strength. There might not be as much in this one as you think. Sure, a predator is larger than Geralt and especially strong for its size, but Geralt too exhibits strength well beyond his frame. He constantly holds his own against much larger and stronger monsters. A predator isn't especially big, considering Geralt routinely faces Leshen, Chorts, and even dragons from time to time. That being said, do I think Geralt could rip a man's spine out of his body? Certainly not, and predators do this all the time. Yes, Geralt held back an attacking monster presumably weighing 20-ish tons, but this is strength well beyond what he typically displays. Also, this is in the comics where powers tend to get a bit far-fetched. Predators have incredible feats in the comics too, such as tearing through a metal wall with ease. The predator wins for strength. Next is weapon skills and abilities. And again, it's fairly even. Both have spent their lives hunting formidable beasts, although the predator does have the advantage in years, as blooded predators are at least 300 years old to Geralt's 61 years. Not to say that age is everything. You might think the predator's cloaking may make him able to get the jump on Geralt, but I don't think for a second this would work. Geralt's senses are far too sharp. He can hear breathing, smell day-old scents, and has incredible eyesight. I reckon each individual sense could identify the predator before it could attack. So having all of them, Geralt is over-equipped. I also don't think the predator would bring his plasma caster, as Geralt appears human. Killing in this way would be dishonourable. This means the fight will occur out in the open, likely with their melee weapons. Of course, we don't know what weapon the predator would use besides its gauntlet, but I back Geralt here. He's shown to be unmatched with the sword, and he has his signs, which the predator has never seen before. I expect his Ken shield sign to put in work here, as would the Igni sign, which would interfere with the predator's infrared vision. Honestly, it's a close one, as both have made mistakes hand-to-hand against much weaker foes in the past, which will get them killed here. But ultimately, I think Geralt edges it in this category. Next is durability and stamina. Again, it's fairly close. They both have minor healing factors, but the predator's is a little better. It also carries around a medkit, which it could use if it gets the time. As for stamina, I estimate they're around the same, both taking part in extended fights without tiring. Besides, stamina is likely to be a non-factor, as evil will probably make a mistake and perish long before it becomes a battle of attrition. I'm giving the edge to the predator. Speed and agility next. Both have exhibited some pretty wild feats, most notably in the comics, but from what we see in the movies and games, Geralt seems to be quicker and more agile. He has faced numerous fast monsters such as the Bruxa and Striegers and lived to tell the tale. As for the predator in question, we're ignorant of the beasts it has faced, but we do know from media that blooded predators perish in battle a fair bit. They've certainly been a bit slow on occasions, such as the time the Scar Predator got caught by a facehugger in AVP. Geralt, on the other hand, is still alive and kicking. He wins this category. Last on the list, we come to IQ. We've already established that predators didn't design their tech, but they are elite hunters, setting up the perfect ambushes and adapting on the fly to take out their prey. Geralt may not be as skilled at ambushing, but he is every bit the elite strategist as a predator, making use of his full arsenal in the form of signs, potions, bombs, and oils. The many years of training at Kaer Morhen and decades on the road slaying monsters ensures he has a breadth of knowledge and experience. I say he wins on the IQ front. Right then, time for our overall winner. Strength, Predator. Weapon skills and abilities, Geralt. Durability and stamina, Predator. Speed and agility, Geralt. IQ, Geralt. Geralt wins it 3 categories to 2. But does he win overall? Yes, I think he does. The Predator's code of honor and overconfidence is its undoing. Had it brought a plasma caster along, it would have easily defeated Geralt. But without it, it likely loses. The pair are so evenly matched across the board that I think the fight primarily comes down to skill and fight IQ. Both categories Geralt wins. The White Wolf doesn't have to travel across galaxies looking for the perfect prey. There are monsters all around him and contracts to fulfill. He has experience in spades. Likely a great deal more than a blooded predator, despite being much younger. I feel Geralt is superior in melee combat with his sword, and this could prove enough to win. But even if it doesn't, I expect Geralt's other tools and skills will give him the edge. Most notably, his signs. This is something the Predator has never seen before, and they are pretty darn powerful. So there you have it. In a showdown between a Predator and Geralt, Geralt takes the win. Do you think I was right? Let me know down in the comments. Also, who would you like to see next? This video took over 40 hours to put together, so I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you're interested in checking out more showdowns. Until next time.